What's up, nerds? We're your hosts this week. I am Jake.
And I am Chad.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're also sponsored by Craig Baby Craig's Sauce.
This week we have a couple of guests on to talk about the Battle of the Sketches. This is our second week in our collaboration for the Battle of the Sketches. We get to talk to them a little bit about some tips for just starting out as a new artist, where they find their inspiration, and their process for completing art pieces and meeting deadlines.
We will also be talking about She-Hulk, Werewolf by Night, and House of the Dragon. Episode 8.
Eight,
Episode
yeah.
8. Yeah, yeah.
No.
So, yeah. This is the All Podcast Nerds All.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. So, Jake, how was your week this week?
It's okay. We didn't do a whole lot. We decorated our yard for Halloween, which was cool. Nicole had a pretty cool idea. You saw it.
Yeah, with all the little skeletons crawling around.
She bought this like box of these like 1 foot tall skeletons, and they're all like bendy at the joints and stuff. So we put them all in the tree, like they're climbing the tree and like helping each other up. Sounds not as great as it is, but it's pretty fucking
It's
funny.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I got my COVID booster on Friday, which the new booster shot covers the variants of COVID, not just the original COVID that we got, our shot for last year or whatever. So it's a little more intense. So
Fun.
Saturday was rough.
Yeah.
Friday night and Saturday was rough. Yeah. And while I was sick on Saturday, I started my next week's or this week's, by the time this comes out, challenge for Battle of the Sketches, which is the Bride of Frankenstein. So I started my pinup girl Frankenstein.
Nice.
You saw it. You saw where I'm at. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool so far. I'm happy with it.
I'm digging it. I have
How
not.
was your week?
My week was. Most of the week was pretty boring. I did a lot in one day. Um,
Oh,
Saturday,
guys.
oh, it's cute that you think I'm getting some. No, Saturday we had D&D.
Way to turn that around. Sorry.
No, you're welcome. I thought you'd appreciate it. Played some Dungeons and Dragons Saturday night. It wasn't our main campaign. It was we'd kind of do like a side job board sort of thing,
Hmm.
which is pretty fun. You get to experiment with like new characters and stuff like that you don't normally play as. So that was a lot of fun. And then Steven and Shalone came and visited, a couple of friends, and then we went out to a bar down over by campus, kind of like in the downtown St. Cloud area.
Hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. This bar has like five different bars within it, and each one is kind of like its own separate thing. So one's a little bit more of like a dive bar, one's kind of like a cocktail lounge. By the time we got there, like the nicer kind of like martini lounge was closed. But then there's a live band in the basement bar, which was pretty cool. It was like death metal, so like it was you sit there and just kind of like listen to it. You can't really like get too involved because there's just so much stuff going on at once in the
Hmm.
music. But it was still fun because I love live music and I'm a big fan of metal. So
And drinking.
and drinking. Oh my
Yeah.
god, we got so drunk. Oh, it was
So
bad.
you were sick as well over the weekend, just for a different reason as
I
myself.
did not throw up, but I was violently hungover the next morning to where, and I couldn't sleep. So I woke them up and I was like, We're going to Perkins or IHOP. Your choice. I need some greasy breakfast food. They
Oh
chose
man,
IHOP, which is
IHOP.
I like Perkins better, but
I do too. You know what? Here's the thing about IHOP, and I was gonna say this to you the other day, and I didn't. And I'm gonna say it now. When I was in high school, when I was in high school, I got a job at IHOP. I went
oh,
through orientation, which was supposed to be paid and everything, and they never fucking scheduled me. But those motherfuckers, IHOP in Burnsville, I don't think it's even there anymore,
oh,
owe
the
me
one
a
that was
pay.
off of 42 and County Road
They
5.
owe me a paycheck for my day of orientation, and they never paid me. So fuck IHOP.
Dicks. Their pancakes are pretty bomb though.
Yeah, we used to get hammered and go walk up there, and then get the at like because they're open super late,
Hmm.
and then you get the plate of pancakes, the whatever you call it,
Yeah, it's like a 5 stack or whatever.
unlimited pancakes or whatever.
Oh,
And then we would like pass them around our group of like 3 or 4 people. They
nice.
put a stop to it after they caught on, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're like, you guys can't do that.
yeah.
And I was
I
like,
just
you owe
got
me a paycheck, fucker.
I just got regular pancakes, but Steven got they have like the trace leches, so it's like
Hmm,
caramel and vanilla drizzle over the top.
hmm.
I knew that if I had all those, if I didn't already have, well, I don't already have diabetes, but I would leave with diabetes. The way I started to phrase it made it sound like I'm diabetic. I'm not. But they were really good. But like after a bite, I was like, oh shit. Uh, it's a good thing I'm not diabetic because I like
I,
having both. Nah, I'm not
dude,
gonna finish it. Okay,
oh,
cool.
yeah. I was like, I could ramble about something. I'm not going to because we have so much shit to cover.
Yeah,
Uh, 3 shows plus our interview.
yeah.
Um, but oh my God, where the fuck are we?
So this
Oh my
week
God, oh
is
yeah,
our second week. We told you about it last episode for Battle of the Sketches. We hope anyone that's listening that likes to draw or
yeah,
wants to challenge themselves, whether you're good or not, because I'm
yeah.
not good.
Neither am
But
I.
I'm participating. It's a ton of fun. The Battle of the Sketches this week is the Bride of Frankenstein, like Jake mentioned. Next week will be the creature from the Black Lagoon. So we're kind of keeping a spooky Halloween vibe with classic monsters.
Yeah, yeah. Super excited. My Bride of Frankenstein is almost done,
I'm
and
starting
I'm
mine after
really
this.
excited. I'm really excited for. I'm a little nervous, but excited for the creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm gonna do it like a sugar skull,
Ooh,
like a tattoo. Yeah, I'm really. I think that's
that's really interesting.
yeah. So we'll see how that turns out.
I have two ideas. I won't get into it here, but I have two ideas. Neither of them are going to turn out well. So I'm trying to decide which one will be less work that I can spend more
You
time
said
on.
that about your werewolf, and I thought your werewolf was badass.
I tried. The proportions are off on it
Who
because,
gives a shit?
yeah.
I thought it was super cool, and the use that something that I did not do in my drawing last week, that I was really pissed about, and I think your picture kind of like pointed that out for me, is I didn't use my whole page. I did like a drawing and then like a moon, and I was like, this feels so kind of like bland. And then like when you submitted yours, I was like, fuck, he put trees in there. I should have totally put trees in there. No, you did awesome. You did better than you give yourself credit for. I thought it was really good.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
yeah, I haven't
And you
drawn since
inspired
high
me
school.
this and you inspired me this week to use my whole page as you've now seen. I was like, I drew like the main picture, and I was like talking to my girlfriend Nicole, and I'm just like, I gotta put more shit in here. What do I put? I don't know what to put. And she was like, what if you do? And she gave me the kind of the 90% of the idea for the background. And I was like, that's fucking genius. So
And your
you,
background has some fun Easter eggs for like diehard fans, which is
yeah, I want
really
to see if
cool.
anybody gets it. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, definitely because we have a lot to cover. So let's start with She-Hulk. Uh, spoiler alert. Yes.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Well, the Daredevil watch is over.
Yeah.
Daredevil is in this episode. Thank the Greek gods.
And the Roman ones, because they're like the same, just have slightly different names.
Yeah, son of a bitch. It only took fucking 7 episodes, but we
Yeah.
got him. We got Daredevil.
And
Classic yellow and red, ketchup and mustard suit.
which they even joke, which is cool because, I mean, it's comic accurate of his
Me,
first
yeah,
suit because it originally came from the color scheme from his dad's boxing
yeah,
robes.
yeah. And he's blind, so he can't really tell. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. That was mean.
Well, someone made it for him, so.
I know.
Uh, but what was cool was we got a much more acrobatic version
Hmm.
of Daredevil from what we got from the Netflix series.
Not that Netflix series wasn't. That dude was flipping all over the place. But
Yeah,
like
but it
half his
was
kicks were like a front flip or a back flip that landed on someone's face.
yeah,
You know
but
what I mean? Like,
that was just like adding flips at ground level. Like we saw him
yeah,
like
yeah,
flipping over cars, jumping off of
yeah.
parking
Building, yeah,
structures.
yeah.
Um, but what I thought was really cool was She-Hulk. He's like, who? Like, so what are you? Like the Golden Devil? And then you hear the Netflix theme playing in the background. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm Daredevil.
Oh, she says, "Are you a?" She's like, "What are you, a superhero or something?" And he's like, "I'm Daredevil."
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then yeah, but they play the theme in the background.
Which
It was
was
very cool.
so cool. It was just a nice nod.
I actually didn't even catch that. You're the one who pointed that out for
Yeah.
me, and then yeah, that was very cool. Yeah, and the whole a lot. I think here's the thing. Here's the. This isn't even a bad thing about the show. It's just something
No, the show's been fantastic.
that I wanted to bitch about, and it's fragile people that are. I mean, I assume these
Fan
are the same.
fragility.
Yeah, I assume these are the same people that are bitching about Ariel for the Little Mermaid being black. Are complaining that they're like, oh my God, Daredevil smiled and he is making jokes. You guys are ruining his persona, and it's like,
Read a
shut,
comic.
shut the fuck up, dude. Like, shut. Are you? Those are the people. They're clearly not like you said. Read the comic. You're clearly not a comic fan. You are just a TV watching fan, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you don't know shit about Daredevil's persona. If you knew, you wouldn't say that, or you would because you're a twat.
Yeah,
But
Netflix made him took like a darker approach, which in
it's
some
just,
of the comic
yeah,
stories he is very dark and brooding,
yeah,
and that's fine because the show was great. The
yeah.
Netflix
Loved it.
series was awesome. I just rewatched it and I was not disappointed rewatching it
Yeah.
at all. A ton of fun, but there's
Title of your sex tape.
thanks.
Not
A
you.
ton of fun. It's like a Yelp review for my sex performance. No, but yeah, I mean, he cracks jokes. He's sarcastic. He shows up to Christmas parties like ready to party. Like he's
Well,
kind of
and
a
I think,
fuckboy.
and a part of it is that he was at this point that we see him and Jen interacting. I guess we kind of skipped a part where they interact prior to interacting as She-Hulk and Daredevil. They
Yeah, they
interact as
interact in
Jen and
the courtroom as well,
yeah,
and at a bar.
as Matt Murdock, and he just bodies her in court, which is hilarious. But
Well,
but
because she was forced to take the case and she didn't
yeah,
want
she
to
didn't
help
want to
this
take it. Yeah,
dude anyways. Leapfrog, by the way,
yeah,
he's just a dumbass.
yeah.
But
But yeah, they get to this point where they meet up with each other, and they they meet each other in a bar, and they are pretty flirty, and she's like, I'm kind of feeling this guy when she breaks the fourth wall or whatever. And then he bails to go do something, and then she gets a call to go do something as She-Hulk, and she shows up, and he's there as Daredevil, and she is like trying to fight him, and he's kind of like dodging all of her attacks, and he's like he knows who she is, but she doesn't know who he is. So he's like flirting with her, and I think that's where people are like getting annoyed with it. and they're like, oh, he's being like jokes and blah blah blah, and is like he's flirting
And
with the
smiling. Oh,
yeah. Oh my God, he smiled. Yeah, yeah, it was whatever. I thought it was great. The whole scene was great. It was
it was
fantastic.
That's what I wanted,
Yeah.
especially now that it's not the Netflix series and it's back with the MCU, where it's
Hmm.
a little bit of a lighter tone. Still has its darker moments, but
Hmm.
overall it's lighter.
Yeah.
Why not show that side of Daredevil? I was happy about it. Oh, yeah. You read the next
I didn't read your notes.
you read the next line. Uh,
Go
so
for it.
in true episode 1 of She-Hulk post-credit scene fashion,
Comic book
Daredevil
fashion.
fucks. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
he's already called it out. He's kind of a fuck
He's
boy.
yeah. Not quite on Tony Stark's level, but he's a playboy for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So
Say what you wrote down there.
I said a bang, bang, bangity bang instead of bang, bang, bangity bang. For those of you that watched How I Met Your Mother,
I
you
did
should know
not
that.
read the notes until just I was kind of like reading them as we go. And
Yeah.
so I was like, all right, what are we talking about next here? And I just went, oh God, Chad,
Well,
come on, man.
She-Hulk and Daredevil eventually team up because they realize that. Well, he tells her that the leapfrog dude is just a piece of shit,
Well, he
and
kidnaps
they're
the costume
yeah,
maker.
Luke, the he's not the actual drip broker,
Yeah.
but he's the one that makes all the super suits and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And they even make a joke about that before she finds out that he's Daredevil, and they're just at the
Mhm.
bar and he's wearing a suit. She's like, "So how do you know Luke?" And he's like, "He made me a couple of suits." And she's like, What's this guy making suits for a blind man?" And clearly he didn't do that good of a job because he's like wearing like like an off the
It's like
rack
a
suit.
gray suit, yeah.
And he's like, "Did you just insult a blind man on his fashion?" Like, it's just funny.
Yeah.
It's comic accurate, is what it is. And the people
It
that are
hurt.
bitching about it are just
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. It hurt some feelings for some reason,
Yeah.
but yeah. Um,
We're kind of
sorry.
jumping around the episode here, but we also learned
Yeah.
that intelligentsia is a bigger
Mhm.
threat than what
Yes.
we thought. It's not just the Marvel version of 4chan. It's not a bunch of trolls that,
And
are the same guy.
intelligentsia is not in, I think this is a theory. Intelligentsia is not going to be a one-off bad guy for She-Hulk. This is going to be a
Or
big
just
deal
the MCU in general, because,
because yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the leader who we know is going to be in Captain America,
yeah,
for and also Modoc, who we also know is going to be in Ant-Man 3, are part of Intelligentsia.
yeah,
Uh, and also, so is Ulysses Claw from Black Panther, and what else was he in? Age, no, not Age of, yeah,
yeah,
Age
Age
of
of Ultron.
Ultron.
But
Yeah,
he dead.
yeah. But I'm just saying he was part of that too.
Hmm.
So it's not, this isn't like a small detail that they're gonna throw in She-Hulk, and then we're gonna be like, oh, okay, they beat that bad guy. That bad guy's done now. That's it. This is a bigger thing that's gonna be
Yeah,
going forward in the MCU.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Kind of messed up though. They basically like use revenge porn to defame She-Hulk at her
Mhm.
award ceremony for being a female lawyer of the year.
Yeah.
Super messed up, and it just this show is not shying away from like women's issues, and I think
Hmm.
that's also where a lot of people are complaining because been a bunch of dude bros for a long time. And if you're not liking the show, like that's fine. You can not like the show, but like if you have things to say about like these topics, like you're wrong, especially if you have a penis. Um,
So sorry.
no, you're totally fine. Because like these are real things that women have to deal with. Like we're we're a couple of dudes, so like we don't actually experience it, but they're not shying away from it. And I think it's really great that they're doing it because
Yeah.
the episode ends with her reacting to this defamation where it uses like personal aspects of her life, of her being a strong independent woman that is living her life and getting what she wants.
And somebody put a camera. What
Yeah,
can't sidestep the fact that somebody put a camera in her bedroom.
yeah, like a hidden
This,
camera.
yeah, specifically to like videotape her having sex, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean it's straight up they use revenge porn to get a reaction out of her, and then everyone reacts to her instead of what's actually going on.
Yeah,
Like
which
that's
is circles back
real.
like we talked about earlier. Is it circles back to the first episode where Bruce or the Hulk is talking to Jen after she gets her powers and says that you got to be careful with this thing because once people see you as a monster, they don't unsee it.
Yeah,
And that, back to Age of Ultron, where Hulk gets mind fucked by Scarlet Witch and destroys like an entire city fighting Iron Man. And then in Ragnarok, Hulk says to Thor, like, people on Earth hate me. I'm not going back there, you
yeah,
know. So that's what he was warning her about is like, hey man, like you can't react the way you want to react all the time because if people see you with this amount of power and you react poorly, they're gonna not be
yeah,
able to unsee that. And
yeah,
they show that happen. Rightfully so. I mean, fucking I would.
yeah. I would
I
be.
would have flipped out.
Yeah,
I would have done more than punch the TV. That's for goddamn sure.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
But,
It's insane.
yeah.
So it sets up a lot of tension going into the season finale. One thing that we did skip over for this episode is that we learned that the Sokovia Accords have been appealed
Hmm.
officially.
Yeah. Second thing, and this is maybe just a Jake theory here. Um, but the really douchey guy who's always wearing scarves that like keeps like hitting on her and like forcing her, like in this episode, he forces her to like go on a date with him or whatever.
Yeah, because he says
Uh,
it's for like he needs like legal counsel, but he's like trying
yeah,
to hit
and
on
he
her.
also called her a specimen in like the first like on their first date or whatever. I believe he works for Intelligentsia, and I also believe at the end of this episode, you see him videotaping. There's like a group of people videotaping her, reacting or not poorly. Her actions were justified for sure.
She
Uh,
was tame
but
compared to
she
what was
was
being done to her.
they
But
were
yeah,
they were videotaping her hulking out, if you will. And she catches one of them, and if you look at his hair and whatnot, it's that guy. I'm
yeah,
100% sure. They haven't revealed that, and I guess I could be wrong, but I am 100% sure that that fucking dude is that guy,
yeah,
and he's part of it. So, but yeah, like Chad said, leading into next week, um, we don't know much. We know that Wong and uh, Bruce, aka Incredible Hulk, aka
Smart Hulk, Professor
Green,
Hulk,
I
whatever.
was gonna say Green Thunder, uh, is back, and they show Bruce fighting Abomination, which I don't know. I assume that means that uh, Emil Blonsky or whatever
Yeah,
has been faking his reform this entire time.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see why they fight.
Yeah.
Because even Bruce, because he's in full control now. You know, like
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
just has the Hulk's body, and he even said, you know, that he forgives Emil for
Yeah.
everything. You know, very early on in the series. So it's very. I'm interested to see why.
I'm also interested in that fight because their first fight, Abomination whooped the Hulk's ass until the Hulk got so mad that because that's the Hulk's power comes from his rage.
Yeah,
And so I would really like to see Mark Ruffalo, even though he's in control, I'd love to see him like fucking Hulk out
and this
and
could
and
break
not
that.
be in
This
control
could break
anymore.
that connection too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Which could lead to like
World War Hulk. Yeah,
the
yeah.
suspected World War Hulk that we're gonna supposedly get. We'll see if Universal plays nicer than Sony. Um, hopefully they do because they seem to be smarter. But then also, sorry to circle back to the Sokovia Accords being appealed, leads to my theory because now the Avengers and superpowered people aren't at the will and whim of government
Hmm.
intervention. So I think that's where and why we're going to get the Thunderbolts is
Yeah.
because since the Sokovia Accords were repealed, the U.S. government wants their own task force of heroes or
Yeah.
anti-heroes, people that can, take the fall or be blamed.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
That went on pretty long.
Yeah,
So
it's
let's
okay.
talk about Werewolf by Night.
Ooh, we gotta breeze through it, I guess, kinda. Well, fucking A, god damn it. It was so good.
It was
It
so
was
good.
so fucking good.
It's
I'll
still
pick
fresh
out.
though, so let's leave it as like open as possible because people should go watch this.
Yeah,
Even though it's
go watch it.
a
Yeah,
special presentation, it's
yeah,
been said that the things that happen in this hour long like mini movie
yeah.
one
Will
off,
affect the
yeah, is very
MCU going
important for
forward.
the future.
This is huge because,
Yeah.
well, we know from Doctor Strange 2, uh the darker side and the magic and I guess paranormal, supernatural aspect of things is a huge deal in not only the comics but going forward for the movies.
Yep.
Um, we got they've already hinted towards a Midnight Suns movie. This is part of that. We
Yeah.
got Moon Knight. We got Blade. Blade was supposed to be in this. We didn't get it, unfortunately. Ghost Rider, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, uh, fucking, I don't know. Help me out here, dude.
Well, I mean, in the Midnight Suns, I mean the Punisher comes and goes, Wolverine
Punish,
comes and
yeah,
goes.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people involved in the Midnight Suns, but more directly, I mean, we see like a head trophy of a vampire.
Hmm.
I mean, so and we know Blade is coming. We haven't we haven't seen Marshall Ali's face as Blade yet, but we've heard his voice in the Eternals,
Hmm.
which also uh, the Black Knight
Oh, it's
is
part of the
part of it
Midnight Suns,
too.
yeah. Hmm.
So I mean
Jon
that
Snow, if you will.
yeah,
Yeah,
who hopefully in this knows some things
yeah.
instead of just
And
nothing.
grows his hair back out. I'm not a fan of the Kit Harington with the short hair.
He looks fine, but
No.
he looks better
Yeah.
with his longer hair.
Yeah.
But back to Werewolf by Night. I
Sorry.
mean, I mean, shot in black and white as an
Yeah.
homage to old school monster films.
Not just shot that way. I mean, the music, the
Yeah.
credits, everything about it was old school horror
And what's cool
fashion.
was
Yeah, it
this
was
was
amazing.
Michael Giacchino's directorial debut. I mean, he's probably the greatest composer of our generation, doing stuff from the Star Trek reboots. Um, has done some Star Wars. I think it was Rogue One. He did all sorts of composing, and now he's directing and fucking killing it at the same time. Uh, it was
I think
really really fun to watch.
my favorite thing, personally, was that well, spoiler alert, obviously, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it, come back. 3, 2, 1. You had enough time. Man Thing is in this, and Man Thing is not you watching it, you would be like, oh, this is a CGI character and it's really cool. The It's a guy in a suit. It's Man Thing is not CGI. I think
Yeah,
they added CGI uh to like do some of the movements and stuff, but mostly 90% of it is a guy in a giant guy in a giant suit
yeah,
playing Man Thing, and it is so fucking cool. Man Thing is so rad.
yeah.
Uh Dude,
Ted,
it
if you will.
yeah. Yeah, Ted. He goes by Ted. It is so fucking good to show it or what do you call it? A movie, a show? It's a
Yes.
mo. Yeah. It's is really good. It was a lot of fun. is bloody, as you mentioned to me earlier. Because it's in black and white, they were able to be pretty gory, but the blood
without
splatter,
losing
yeah,
rating or
yeah.
having to go up in
So,
rating. Yeah, like
um,
some limbs getting lopped off,
yeah, yeah.
people
So
being
a lot of
incinerated.
like blood splatter. I mean, there was like stuff getting ripped, and then like blood would like hit the camera or like whatever.
Yeah,
It was really cool. Um, Disappointing side. Uh,
Jack
when
Russell's Werewolf by Night.
when he wolfed out, he looked like a chimpanzee in pants.
It was very similar to, I mean, in keeping with old school monster films, looked more like the Wolf Man, from the 30s and 40s.
As were the
It was,
comics, Werewolf by Night is a giant monster.
well, again,
Wolf.
depending on the comic run, but
Yeah,
in more recent iterations, Art
really wanted
Adams
it to be
and
that.
newer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping because in the preview or the trailers, we don't actually see him. We just kind of see him like shadows change, and you see the hair, and then it was Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Um,
Like MTV Teen Wolf.
yeah,
It was not great.
he was still badass.
He,
He just didn't
yes,
look as brutal as. I guess this is just coming down to what I wanted to see. I
hmm
wanted to see like
hmm
a gnarly ass werewolf.
That's, yeah, again, this is our personal opinion. This doesn't mean it's not comic accurate or whatever,
Yeah,
but
and it was
we're just
phenomenal.
the show was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Nicole made a comment that he looked like Luther from Umbrella Academy. Because it's like he had like big arms, but like a tiny head, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
It was really good. Don't let the appearance of the bear wolf.
Yeah.
Man, bear, pig. Uh,
Excelsior. Whoosh. But seriously, go watch it. It's incredible. We've already taken up a ton of time because we still have to talk about House of the Dragon. So we do apologize. This episode's probably going to be a little bit longer even than last week, which ran a little long.
He'll survive.
Yeah, just remember we love you. Uh, but before we get into our or interviews with a couple of awesome artists, we got to tell you about Ray's energy drinks. You already know. Fantastic energy drinks, 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 crash. So much more than just carbonated caffeine if that's not your thing. There's protein packed pancakes, cakes in a cup, supplements, all of it. So listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you to do our interviews with Nate Birr and Daniel Kim. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Ray's Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Ray's Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their Refresh formula technology, Ray's Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Ray's Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you. Welcome back, everyone. This week we are joined by a couple more fantastic artists as part of our collaboration for the Battle of the Sketches month. We'll let them introduce themselves. Welcome, guys, to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Seriously.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right off the bat, introduce yourselves. You know, who are you? How long have you been doing art? How'd you get into art? Things like that. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Daniel. Why don't you go? You start.
Sure, I'll start. I mean, I'm the amateur here, so I don't have much of a story. I've been doing art since I was a kid, basically just doing it as a hobby. Not much more to it than that. Really just started taking it seriously again when I found Jim Lee on Twitch and started watching him and got inspired again and just went at it with the pencil and the pen. Yeah, and then just started Instagram at the same time and just threw stuff up there. And then found Battle of the Sketches, and here we are today.
Oh yeah. And your go-to is the pencil and pen, correct?
That's my go-to. Yeah. I have a Cintiq and I've done digital, but it's really my forte is really pencil and pen.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I was looking at your stuff before we jumped on here, and holy shit, dude, you are really good. Both of you are. I looked at both of yours. He was just talking in the moment. So yeah, I was gonna say the same thing for you, but yeah, you guys are crazy good. Tell us about you.
Me? Yeah, I mean, I've been drawing since I was 2 years old. And I think I kind of the same way as Daniel. The way I found Battle of the Sketches was through Jim Lee. It's kind of the same thing. He started doing Twitch streams, and then I think I found his stuff on YouTube first, and then went and started watching some of his Twitch streams. And then from there, I think Bernard's stream was either a recommended one or he rated him at some point. And I started watching them because I thought that, Bernard's very entertaining and very talented, and everybody there is really, it's fun to watch them do their thing. And then from there, they mentioned Battle of the Sketches, and I took a look at it and just started. I don't know, was that like 2 years ago? Seems like now, maybe a year or two, year and a half, something like that. Daniel,
I keep wanting to call.
Yeah, I want to call Daniel Golf Boy.
Do you go by Daniel or do you go by Dan or?
Well, most of the people who know me call me Daniel. I've I grew up with the nickname Danny, and my family members call me that, but most of the other people I know, friends and colleagues and that sort of thing, they call me Danny.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure we're getting the right thing down here.
Yeah, because I know him as Golf Boy from Twitch.
Yeah,
and he's been on my Twitch stream, and he's all over Bernard's and Jim Lee's and everybody else's. So
that's his Instagram handle too, is Golf Boy. When Chad we were talking about who was going to be on this week, I was like, Daniel. I was like, do I follow Daniel? And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, it's Golf Boy. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that's kind of how I found Battle of the Sketches. I think the first one I did was Mr. Miracle, and that was quite a while ago. But Golf Boy, Daniel's been doing them forever. I think he's like the Cal Ripken of Battle of the Sketches. I think he's only missed like one or two when his hand was injured at some point, but he's done a ton of them.
I missed 2 or 3.
Yeah. Well,
missed 2 or 3, but had a pretty good run. I started. It's almost 2 solid years now doing Battle of the Sketches. I started on the G.I. Joe theme way back in September 2020.
Oh wow.
Basically was trying to do it every week since then.
Now that we know a little more about you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on the choices for this month? Being the monsters, I know some of you guys have turned stuff in already. Obviously, Ken turned in all 4 of them right away. What are your thoughts on like the horror aspect? Is that something that's within your realm? Do you guys like that? or is it kind of a struggle for you guys? How do you feel about it?
I guess I can start. Yeah, no, the horror theme is kind of right in my what I like to do. Really, I kind of there's only a little bit of a style change between the comic book work, subject matter, and kind of the horror sort of stuff that I, as far as what I was looking to do, and it's pretty minor, just some different kind of line weight and things like that. But no, it's yeah, it was a good choice. I think October was a good month to do it, and yeah, I'm enjoying the subjects you guys chose. I think
Sweet.
there'll be some good ones.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. This is not really anything that I would normally do on my own. That's kind of the beauty of Battle of Sketches too, is that the prompts really try and take you out of your comfort zone and give you characters that you normally wouldn't think of on your own to do. So it's definitely been a fun couple weeks, and I'm looking forward to the next couple. But yeah, it's definitely outside of my comfort zone.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the benefits of it is that every week they've been choosing prompts, and so it's just whatever. And for a while there, I mean, Jerry switched to the format to where he gives the entire month all at once, and so you can kind of plan ahead. But
Yeah.
before that, it was, he would announce what the actual character is going to be, just like on the Friday or Saturday before, I think. And so it was even more like kind of a punchy sort of deadline setup where you had no idea what was coming. And usually, I think sometimes he would say what the theme was going to be for the month, sort of, but a lot of times it was just based on sort of what popular movies were going on or characters or things happening in comics and stuff like that. So I don't know which one I preferred, but I think I kind of like the one where you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, you like that better?
It does. Well, it throws you a curveball. I mean, it and that is true. It's not always the characters that you're familiar with or that you're comfortable with, and so yeah, it's definitely good practice for that sort of thing. I've always thought that for sure.
Yeah, I agree with Nate. I mean, part of the charm of it was you really only got like 2 or 3 days to get it done, and for me,
Right.
because I'm just doing this part-time. I've got a day job, and so I just do it whenever I can. It was really a challenge to try and turn out something decent in, just the weekend, right? And so
Yeah.
that was kind of fun. Knowing ahead of time kind of puts a little bit more pressure on you to, because you've got time to think about it and, try to plan out a composition. It puts a little bit more pressure on you maybe to turn out something even better than you normally would. But yeah, with the surprise prompt, so to speak, yeah, there was really no pressure for me. I would just draw something and just turn it in, even if it didn't look cool. If you look at some of my Instagram posts, some of them were just really terrible drawings. I just, I put it in the descriptions. I really hate what I put out here, but again, it's all in the goal of growing and improving yourself. So yeah, putting yourself out there, I think, is a good thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Since you have a little bit more time to kind of plan with the prompts, being announced, weeks in advance now, where do you go for to find inspiration, find like reference material, and what were some of the things that you used as references either for, this week's piece or your last week's piece, that sort of thing?
Google Images is my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I think well, that was another part of the previous kind of format for me was I do painted stuff a lot of times, and I've been sort of pushing to get faster and faster, and I keep notes. I have notes all over the place, and I cut stuff and reorganize the technique, and it's like a constant kind of evolution of how I try to work, and having those prompts that quick. And a lot of times I don't start them until like the day before or something, 2 days before. And so that also pushes I like to use realism as, to a certain extent, and like, unique lighting conditions and those sorts of things. And so that really pushed me to get my referencing ability, skills up. And so that involves, there are certain artists like Bernard that, especially comic artists, Jim Lee, Bernard, those kind of artists, they use reference, but not very much. And I think that a lot of it has to do with time, the availability of time to them. And those guys have very good memories and they have a very good visual catalog in their head that they can reference. I guess that's about it. And then do a quick drawing, get some references and start putting some paint down as quick as I can.
Sweet.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the werewolf one was, I kind of had an idea, and I just kind of went with it. I knew I wanted to do a full body, and I just really just started drawing. Like I just started drawing the face, and well, I had the proportions out, and I just started drawing the face, and just all kind of came together. And then, if you look at the original, you can't see it in the photo, but I tried to put some smoke in there, but it really turned out being garbage, and so I kind of blacked everything out in the end. That's sometimes something you have to do when you don't like something, but you can kind of see the remnants of the smoke in the original. And then for this week's, I mean, I had no idea what the Bride of Frankenstein looked like. Looked her up on Google. Did some actual research on the film itself, and I didn't realize that she was only in the movie for like a couple of minutes and just one scene, and really didn't have any lines either. Yeah, and so that was cool that some like a character like that could be so iconic and so impactful with just such limited screen time. And I had an image based on what I saw on Google Images and some of the clips of the movie, and just kind of threw it together. I kind of cheated a little bit and just did a portrait just because it would be faster, but yeah, I had that kind of vision in my head and kind of threw it down on the paper. That's what I ended up with.
Love it.
It was an awesome piece too. Her eyes are so cool. Like the details that you put into the eyes are just incredible.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'm excited to see everyone's. That was my favorite part about last week, was just seeing everyone's turned in work. It was like, holy cow, you guys are literally everybody is like so talented. It's insane.
I love that about every Wednesday. You open up Instagram and just see the feeds of everyone just participating, and a lot of those pieces are just so damn good. Like it's great to see that every week.
It's insane. Let's see. As artists, both of you are artists. Is that something that you want to do full time, or do you guys like doing your 9 to 5 and then doing this on the side? What would that look for you like going forward?
I have no aspirations to do this professionally. I know.
No.
Yeah, I know enough professional artists to know how much hard work it is, how much sacrifice it takes, and I'm not prepared for that at this stage of my life. Yeah.
Okay.
If you had asked me when I was a teenager, I would have said definitely yes, but yeah, at this point in my life, yeah, I know better.
Fair.
Well, yeah, I'm trying. I mean, right now this is what I'm doing. And I do have I have an art representative, which has helped considerably. And I have, commissions and stuff that I'm working on. As far as getting anything published just yet, that's the next on the list. But yeah, it's I agree with Daniel. It's not easy. I kind of with circumstances with the pandemic and stuff, my wife and I we just got into a situation financially. We got super lucky, and I was able to say, I've been doing this since I was a little tiny kid, and now I want to give it a shot for real. And so I've been working on it for the last couple years, just kind of step by step. I think my skills are getting pretty decent, but the marketing part and the self-promotion and that sort of thing is really pretty difficult. And I think that's the case for a lot of people that are, artists in general. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So I guess I don't really have any excuses for the stuff I turn into Battle of the Sketches because I have time to do it. So, Daniel cranks out those crosshatched, those 11 by 17 big crosshatched, super detailed things. And he has a job that he does full time. So I guess I can't whine about it, not getting stuff done.
And, as you move on to getting stuff published, is that something, would you be looking for getting into comics, or just publishing art for larger pieces for galleries and for sale, and sticking with commissions and then stuff like that? Or where would you hope to be?
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally at this point, I've always had this aspiration to kind of do a painted comic, write my own stuff and do a painted, the stuff that I've done for Battle of the Sketches, but actually in, sequential pages in a story. And the reason that I would say that I have to do it myself probably would be I like to draw what I like to draw. Not saying that I wouldn't, not saying that I wouldn't work on projects that other people come up with, but I like that aspect of it, and also the time aspect. I mean, you have to hold yourself accountable if you're doing this as a job. You have to look at it like it's a job, even though I'm working here by myself in the office at the drawing table. You have to set up. I try to set up hours and be pretty strict about it if I can. So you'd have to set up self deadlines, but I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question, but I think, yes, I would like to do some sort of sequential art, and publish stories, because I like illustrating stories. I like illustrations and artwork that tells a story. That's always been my interest since I was, read my first comic. But I'm not 100% sure about that. I've been looking at illustrated novels also. That's kind of interesting too, doing large painted illustrations, but also have more written, more like an actual written book than a graphic novel. So I'm sort of going between those two. I do have a few plot ideas written down, and I have to commit to one or the other probably, and then hopefully just kind of keep building on the commissions and keep that list filling up, and then that'll maybe pay some bills in the meantime, hopefully. So yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of not super specific of an answer, but hopefully it's good enough.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
So if any publishers, any editors see this,
Yeah.
just look up my contact information. But no, it is tough. I agree with Daniel. And if we weren't in the situation we're in right now, financially, I don't think I would be able to do it.
You guys are both working artists. Daniel, you're doing it more on the side, but obviously both have been doing it for a long time. So you've got incredible skill. You know how to balance these things as well with your day-to-day life. What would be some advice that you would give someone that's kind of starting out in art? What sort of advice or tips for self-improvement, just how to keep a healthy mindset and relationship with art if it's something that someone is wanting to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know if I'm any kind of authority, honestly, because I just do it on the side and I do it for fun and as a hobby. But I guess the first thing I would ask is, is this something you really want to do? And if it is, then yeah, just go for it, right? I think one of the best pieces of advice that I got was from Jim on Jim Lee on his Twitch stream is just draw. Honestly, there's no better substitute to just putting pen to paper and then just drawing something, right? And every single time you draw something, you may notice something that's not quite right, or maybe the whole thing you hate, but at least the next time you do it, you'll know what you did the first time out and you can improve upon it, right? And it's really just that step-by-step improvement. That's how my growth has been. It's really just, and bots has been a integral part of that, is just giving me the inspiration, the motivation to draw something, and then just drawing it. And so that would be my advice: is just draw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do like very much Jim Lee's advice that he gives. It's very straightforward and very matter of fact. I think if you're talking about people that are actually just starting to figure out how to draw and learn techniques and composition and all of those sorts of things, it doesn't matter what tools you use at all. I mean, a lot of people ask, what pen are you using? What kind of brush is that? What kind of paper are you working on? That stuff is sort of irrelevant. That's personal taste, and that comes with practice and with trial and error and that sort of stuff. In my opinion, I think as far as keeping a mental attitude that's positive, and Instagram is good for this now too, is have sketchbooks, have your old stuff around that you can look at and go back, because the more you draw, it just, the tendency is you'll improve, over time. And sometimes it's such a gradual improvement that you don't really notice it. So if you have your old stuff around, then you can kind of go back and take a look at your older stuff and say, hey, I haven't felt like I've been doing anything, but looking at my old stuff, I can tell that my hands have improved, my whatever anatomy has improved. That can be kind of helpful. As far as like starting out, it is really kind of just draw. If you enjoy it, then it's something you'll do, just because you enjoy doing it, and just the practice of that will make you better. And it's all about how much work you want to put into it, because it is all very learnable.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, that's a long description of what Jim Lee basically said, is just draw. If you enjoy it, just do it and figure it out.
What about so I know that Daniel, you kind of already submitted your picture, so maybe for this question you could talk about the next one coming up.
Okay.
But what are your plans, or where are you drawing inspiration for? So then for you it would be next week, The Bride of Frankenstein, but then for Daniel it would be the week after, which would be The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Was it a Google thing, or are you familiar with it? Where did you get your inspiration? Do you have a set plan, or are you just going to kind of go with it?
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert: it's done already.
Nice.
But I can talk you through the process. So
Yeah.
that one was actually an interesting one, because again, I had to go to Google to reference the actual creature itself, get a sense of what it looked like. But I did have this image in my head about what I wanted to do, and it was basically, and again, this part of me wants to think that this is kind of like a cheat, because it kind of helps me not draw the entire thing, right? So, but it's basically just the head of the creature kind of peeking up through the water, right?
Okay.
And just kind of like emerging from the water, with a bit of a background. So that's kind of what I did. Again, you could look at it like it was a cheat, because I really only had to draw half its face. And
It sounds creepy. I
the
mean,
rest of it was water.
yeah.
That's the idea, right? I mean, it's supposed to evoke some
Yeah.
kind of emotion, right? So,
Yeah.
and maybe tell a bit of a story at the same time. But
Sweet.
yeah, so that's what I did. That one was a little bit of a simpler one, because of I kind of had, once I saw the Google images of what the creature was, that's kind of what I had in my mind, and I went with it.
Follow-up question for you, Daniel. Are you
Yeah.
completely done? Did you do your witch too already?
I did a witch,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to do another one, because
Okay.
I wanted to do my take on kind of like the original witch from animation, which is the Snow White.
Yeah.
Snow White.
Oh yeah. Love it.
So I'm doing another one right now, based on that. So yeah, I'll submit 2 that week.
So you got a very like Ken Ken Newton mindset and you just bang them all out right away.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I have not. I'm still, The Bride of Frankenstein will probably be Tuesday and get finished on Wednesday, my guess would be. But I mean, so this month is interesting because some of those characters are very specific. Like Bride of Frankenstein is the Bride of Frankenstein, right? It's that character. Whereas the werewolf was like, it's pretty broad. There's all kinds of werewolves, there's all different versions of it. So some of the characters like the Bride of Frankenstein, I had an image in my head right away for it. And I disagree with Daniel. I don't think it's cheating to just do a portrait, okay? Because think about this. 99% of like the good horror movies are not showing the monster, right? It's like, it's the tension building up to the monster. Like, and so taking the characters and just drawing like a character doing something for a horror image like that, I think is it doesn't have the same feel. So like with the werewolf, the idea was for mine was an in your face kind of like attack mode sort of, character, get that feel like a werewolf is hiding and then all of a sudden it's on top of you, right? So I think there's an element to the horror genre of characters that you don't necessarily have to draw all of them, and what you're looking for too is that kind of, that sort of build up in the image, So like with the Bride of Frankenstein, I had like I said a pretty good idea, I think, I hope. And like I said, I did 3 versions of the werewolf, so it may be not my first version, but it's sort of a H.R. Giger sort of idea with the Bride of Frankenstein. I think we'll see how it goes.
Well, I'll tell you why I think it's cheating, though, because with the Bride of Frankenstein, again, like what little I gathered from her, she didn't really do a whole lot in the movie, but you saw her face a lot, right? And so you saw her face, but then if I were to draw her body, I wouldn't know what to do with her arms. I wouldn't know what to do. Like, how would she be standing? I would have no idea. So just focusing on her face to me was like the easiest thing. So that's why I say it was a little bit of a cheat to do it that way.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. FYI, I Googled the Bride of Frankenstein artwork, and there's a lot of people who have made very interesting decisions of what to do with her body in those pictures. So, yeah. Keeping it PG for Battle of the Sketches, I think, is going to be tough for some people this week.
PG. I did a pinup. Mine's almost done. Not that I'm an artist. Obviously, you guys are like crazy, ridiculously good. But we said that we would participate this month. In solidarity with you guys, and I did a pinup, and it is, I'll agree with Daniel a little bit. It is really hard to. I like to draw like a story a little bit in when I do draw, and it's hard to come up with the story with such little to know about the person. Yeah, so I did what I could. It's a little rough. I tried using up the whole page, and that too is hard.
And maybe those people that drew those pictures, that's what they wished would have happened in the movie with that character. But no, so I think I have a direction for that one, I hope, and maybe it won't take quite as long. We'll see. But the creature from the Black Lagoon is an interesting one too. I've seen a lot of good artwork with that monster. So that one's a little bit, there's more options with that, but the character is specific. So, it should work out all right. I think I'm also going to lean towards showing less, having more black in the image, less of the creature, maybe. We'll see. And then witches is the same as werewolves. It's kind of pretty broad. So we'll see where that
you
one
can
goes
really
to.
go from, you can take it from anywhere.
hopefully one of these drawings will turn out like that.
Did Chad, did you start Frankenstein yet or no?
I have not.
No.
I had one idea to start, and then kind of almost like a cameo, like side portrait, and then I realized as I was thinking about it how bad I am at drawing faces and how badly I didn't want to draw like a super detailed face or anything like that. So earlier today, I was thinking about some other things. I mean, I told you, Jake, that my idea is kind of almost to like hide her face in a way, but like let the hair kind of like
Iconic hair, yeah.
out. We'll see.
Nice.
I haven't started it yet, so this could all change again.
Cool.
Yeah. When I start, I always do a ton of little tiny thumbnail sketches, gesture drawings and stuff. And some images I get like on the first or second, and I'm like, that looks good, and I'll go with that. And other ones I draw like 15 or 20 of them before I think I've got anything decent. So that's another way, that you can kind of, before you commit to doing your final drawing, you can go in and sort of iron some things out. That's always helped me anyways.
And that's a good tip that Nate gives. I mean, it's something that I still need to kind of integrate into my art process, but yeah, drawing just quick little gestures and trying to get a feel for, the posing and the character itself and what you want to convey. It's really helpful because I've done that as well. Like I've tried to put gestures on my actual piece and then realized it sucked and then had to go full bore on the eraser on it, do it again, same thing. So I've done that like 6 or 7 times. So doing it in a kind of a thumbnail size, I think, is a smarter way to do it.
And doing those little gesture drawings, you just kind of go, that one sucks, that one's boring, that one's too obvious. And then you sort of arrive at the one, and then you might be able to go back and like go through the rules of composition and figure out the lines and how things work and why you like it. But you'll know. And that's always helped me. I know Golf Boy helped me do the fart joke on Battle of the Sketches on the Monkey Prince month that nobody thought was funny, but we enjoyed it.
We had a good time. We had a good time.
Yeah, I was doing my Twitch stream, and I believe I went through some gesture drawings on that one and ironed out that idea, that joke that nobody thought was funny. But yeah, anyways, that's another way to do it.
Yeah, that's another piece of advice if you're just starting out in art. Just sometimes other people's advice just isn't good.
We're kind of coming to a close here. So where can people find you online? Do you have any last words, either for us or life or more advice, anything? Like, where can people find you and things like that?
Okay. Let's see here. So I used to have a website, but I wasn't getting any traffic on it, so I deactivated it. But my main hub of my work is Instagram. So my Instagram is at n.birr, so n.birr is my Instagram. And that's got a lot of stuff in it. I mean, I think a lot of people are using Instagram as their portfolio now, and so that's been working for me. I do also do a Twitch stream. It hasn't been very consistent lately because I've gotten behind on stuff, but my name on my name on Twitch is pretty much the same as Instagram. Except for it's an underscore instead of a dot, so it's n_Birr, BIRR. I also am represented by Jeff Martin. So if you go to jeffmart.com, so GEOFFMART.com, he's got some of my original stuff on there for sale. There's sort of some smaller stuff. It's not super expensive. And then that's where my commissions list is also. Those guys are handling it for me, thankfully. So I don't have to deal with shipping and stuff. So yeah, I think that's probably the main ways that you would find my stuff. Yeah. So that pretty much, I think.
All right, Daniel, where can people find you?
For me, it's real simple. It's just Instagram. Yeah,
Just
Golf Boy
Instagram?
Sunday. Yep. I used to have a DeviantArt page, but I haven't touched that in years. So
Okay.
it's nowhere near up to date. Even if I don't even know if it's still up, but I used to have that. But yeah, Instagram's the best place to find me. Yeah, all my stuff is there.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And yeah, I think this is a cool idea that you guys
Yeah, I
came up
agree.
with. I think hopefully we'll be able to do this again in the future.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I would be. I'm not super great at like promoting things, but I think I'll make a stab at it, and we'll see if we can get some of those drawings sold. And I like the idea of giving away gift cards to comic shops. And supporting the local comic shops in the area and stuff. That was I think this is a good idea. This is going to be. I think it's going to work out well. So yeah, thanks guys for coming up with it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
for being on the show.
on
This is
this,
amazing.
for sharing your art and everything. It's been a ton of fun seeing everyone that's involved with this put out their art, but also getting a chance to talk with you guys and get to know you a little bit.
That's the fun part. Yeah.
So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us, and I'm looking forward to seeing both of your drawings, even beyond this October, right?
I've done 2 of them so far, other than this one, the month of October. But I will partake more going forward for sure.
Good. I will too. I actually went out and bought supplies, so I have no excuse.
Yeah. Well, and that's the deal with it's Battle of the Sketches, but it's not really a competition, and everybody on there is really supportive.
Supportive. Oh my God. I've turned in some stuff that was like, not that great. And people are like, oh, I really like your color choices. And I really like that you did this and that. And I'm just like, oh shit. Like, thanks, guy. Like, I didn't think anybody would have even liked it, but yeah. So everyone is fantastic. Yeah.
And not only that, but you have access to some very professional artists too that have done a ton of work, like Bernard and Jerry and Ken and Andy and Glenn. And I think they would be up for giving people a pretty harsh critique if they wanted it also on top of everything. But in general, I think, I think it's been real positive. I'm surprised how long I've kept with it. It's a lot of that has to do with the people that are involved with it and how supportive they are of each other and everything. So yeah, hopefully you guys do keep working on it and submitting stuff, and hopefully some of your listeners and viewers and stuff join in too. So yeah, hashtag Battle of the Sketches on Instagram, and just come. Put a pencil on a piece of paper and do some drawings. Everybody wants to see your stuff.
Just draw, everyone.
Just draw. That's exactly right. Yep.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for being on the show. It's been a real honor getting to talk with you guys.
Seriously. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Holy shit. That was amazing. Both those guys, super talented. We appreciate both of you coming on our show. Can't wait to see what you guys turn in for the rest of the month and going forward with Bots, aka Battle of the Sketches. We are going to talk about season 1, episode 8 of House of the Dragon. But before we do, we are going to get into sponsor number 2, which is Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce, which is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on goddamn everything. So listen up, we'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
Welcome back. We are going to finally talk about House of the Dragon, episode 8. Before we get started, as always, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, tune out, tune back in later. 3, 2, 1. You had enough time. Okay. This episode, it's a trend in this show, in this season, especially to time jump into the future. And this one is 6 years after the last episode
Yeah.
that we saw. So, um,
We've
and
traversed about 25 years from episode 1 to now.
yeah, it's been pretty wild. Um, yeah, I mean, well, your notes are fucking hilarious. Uh, Viserys, Viserys is King Viserys is a walking corpse,
Yeah.
according to Chad.
He,
I mean, it's
he died like 3 years ago.
yeah. Three, he died like 10 years ago, bro. This guy looks like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. If you don't know what that is, you're very young, and I'm sorry. But
I don't know
uh,
what that is. Well, I know what it is. I just haven't seen it. But I made the joke when you said that. I was like, yeah, more like the Crypt Keeper's father. Because this dude is old. He is a skeleton with like half of his skin left.
yeah, and I mean, he's a leper, correct?
I don't know what's going on. They never.
Yeah. The goal,
At one
I
point in
assume,
time, it looked like it might be grayscale, but that never turned out to be anything. He's just
I
covered
think it's
in sores.
leprosy. He's got the gold mask was like a common thing for like royalty back then to like cover up leprosy. Um,
I mean,
I
it
don't
makes sense because
know.
leprosy kind of,
Yeah.
historically speaking, came with incest, and this is about the Targaryens, so,
Hmm.
you know, cousin
Yeah.
uncles and stepfather,
This-
cousin, great
yeah.
uncles, and
Speaking of, Princess Rhaenyra is now pregnant with her second kid from her uncle
third,
lover.
because
Oh, twins.
two were
Yeah,
twins.
they had
Yeah, the
twins.
the
Yeah.
first pregnancy was twins. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So she's got another bun in the oven from her uncle,
Mm.
uncle lover, uncle husband. How do you word that?
Well, so he's her uncle, and he's also her cousin because he married her niece. So he's an uncle and a nephew.
They like to keep us on our toes on the incest
It's
with the Game of Thrones.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bit weird.
You got to know where to draw the line when it comes to your family, right, Chad?
What does that mean?
Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ugh,
But
sorry.
yeah,
So sorry.
I saw a meme earlier where it's like, like the girl, your crush, her ex, her dad,
Oh, yeah, one of
you,
those.
but it was like 8 things, and it's like your crush, her brother, and then it shows a picture of her dad, and then it's like your uncle, and it shows a picture of Damon again, and it's like your kid's cousin, and it showed a picture of Damon again, and it was like. And then it was like your uncle again, but then it showed Viserys. Like it's just wild. Like there's so much.
There was kind of a cool. It's like the struggle has always been from the beginning of the show is that do we root for these guys because like they're like banging their family and stuff.
And also, none of them are very good
No.
people.
Yeah. But like I'm really liking Damon. I think
Damon
he's
is
a badass.
the best.
Yeah.
And even though he married his niece and
Had kids
his
with
niece's cousin, and has kids with both of them, and yeah, that part's weird, but like you got to give it to the man. He really cares about family.
title of Rhaenyra's sex tape.
Yep.
Gotta give it to the man.
Or really loves family. No, but Damon has, even in the last episode when Vaemon Valyrian, who is the brother of Lord Corlys, who is the one that sits on the throne at Driftmark, we've referred to him as Blondie Dread,
Blondie Dread.
Papa Blondie Dread. But Vaymond has been just out to delegitimize Rhaenyra's kids. I mean, because they are bastards, and you can't. Good kids, but
goddamn bastards.
they're born out of wedlock from, different people, or from Harwin Strong. Allegedly, it was. But so Vaymond has, for the past couple of episodes, has just been trying to like delegitimize Rhaenyra's kids, and anytime that the focus goes to the kids in a negative way, like Daemon will do something. Like last episode, he starts laughing during a funeral procession because Vaymond is making just like uncomfortable remarks about them. So he like draws the tension away from him. When they're being threatened again in this episode, he basically says "fuck around and find out."
Yeah,
but we'll get there in a second. Yeah,
yeah. He takes it a step further.
a bit much. Yeah,
yeah, a little ahead of the script, Chad.
sorry.
God damn.
You're the one that brought up how much we're actually loving Damon.
I know.
But it's because I love Matt Smith. Like,
Yeah.
Matt Smith was the reason that I wanted the Morbius film to be good.
You really wanted him to be your uncle, don't you?
Yes, Daddy?
Dad?
Thanks. You made it uncomfortable. Move on to the next talking point.
Oh no. Okay, well, we know that Aegon, which is Alicent's oldest son, is total. He's I'm gonna use my word that I created. He is King Joffrey pre-incarnated. He is a total douchebag. I mean, this kid is like raping housemaids and shit, and like when his mom confronts him about it, he's like, it was just a bit of fun, and he just like pulls his wang out and his mom touches it, and it's
She
weird.
doesn't touch
show's
it,
weird.
but she like yanks the covers off of him, and he's just like naked. And he's like, "What?" And he's like,
we said it last week.
"Put your
that
wiener away."
It's super weird. He's like jerking off over the fucking whatever out the window, and his mom comes in and is like touching his face while this kid is butt naked. It's weird. And now this episode, he just raped some girl and he's butt naked again, and his mom's like, "Don't play games with me" or whatever, and like pulls. He's like hiding his wang from her, and she's like, "Let me look at it." Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. They're all weird. They all want to fuck each other.
They're
super
very
weird.
close.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah, he's just like a fuckboy.
He's a total dick. He's a total dick. He's more than a fuckboy. I mean, he's like raping girls. So yeah, fuckboys are just annoying and
Fratty.
slide into your DMs.
Yeah.
This guy is
Hit you up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's a douche for sure.
He is the firstborn son, so like as a bit of foreshadowing, if the heirship to the throne changes, like that's who's going to rule the kingdom, and he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, much like Joffrey was.
Yeah, and he's just cocky and just a douchebag. Now his younger brother Aemon, who couple episodes ago we're like, wow, they're really bullying that guy, like poor kid. And then last episode he was like, I'm gonna steal a dragon and then beat the shit out of 4 people that jump me and lose an eye and be like, whatever, I still won.
Still have the biggest and oldest dragon in the kingdom.
Yeah, and
I can lose an eye for that.
Yeah, and he's kind of a badass. I mean, he's a dick.
Yeah. He's a total dick, but he's so far he has the character that has most of my attention right now.
Yeah, I'm really eager because there's 2 episodes left. I'm eager to see if you guys have read the books. I'm eager to see if they show the showdown between Eamon and Damon because I really want them to because it's gonna
Yeah.
be fucking badass.
I don't know if they'll get there yet. I did read spoiler alert and spoiler alert for you as well. If you want me to stop, I'll stop. Do you want me to stop?
No, keep going.
Uh, the way this season should end is that all of Rhaenyra's illegitimate kids should get murdered.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they'll all die. So we'll see.
And that's what
it,
starts like the actual like internal war.
yep,
Like
the
full
Civil
on
War
war,
and the
yeah.
Targaryens, yeah. And that would be full on Game of Thrones fashion to leave you on like a holy fuck kind of cliffhanger. Like
Yeah.
those kids just got murdered. So I'm pretty
Well, I mean,
sure
they're
that's
young adults now. Everyone is
Yeah.
basically like 16, 17 and up, except
Yeah.
for her.
those are kids. I'm 35. I call everybody under
Yeah.
the age of 25 kids.
No, that's fair. You're right.
If you can't rent a car, you're a kid.
Well, you can rent a car, it's just the insurance is through the roof. Uh, sorry. But also during this time, like Alicent and Otto Hightower, who is now, I mean, from the last episode was back as Hand of the King. They're the ones running the show because, well, yeah, also probably in true Game of Thrones fashion, they're the ones running, you know, the high court meetings. It's all that
They're running the throne. I mean, her dad,
sits on the
Otto,
throne
is sitting on the throne.
because that's
like
what the
a-
Hand of the King does when the king
Yeah.
can't be there. But that was his plan from the start.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was the hand of Viserys's father as well. So, like, he's had these aspirations to take over.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so we get to the point where, I mean, Otto is sitting on the throne, and it is, like, kind of like a petition in the Great Room for who is going to take over Driftmark, because Lord Corlys has been injured in battle, might not survive, and it's supposed to go to Lucerys or Luke, which is Rhaenyra's second-born son, and they're trying to unseat him for Vaemon Valyrian, who we mentioned is Corlys's brother. We're going to refer to him as nearly Headless Nick, because of what happens in this court proceeding.
Well, before we get there, real quick, I'll spend 30 seconds on this, I promise. There's a scene where you're like, there's no way Viserys is still fucking alive. There's no way, right? 6 years later, at the point he was at the last episode, this guy's got to be a corpse, which he is, but he's still alive.
A walking
And
corpse, if you will.
Rhaenyra begs him basically like, hey, like you can't let these people like delegitimize my kids because that's what they want. They're demanding like a DNA test and fucking what's his name? The God damn it. It would have been really funny if I remembered his name. The Maury.
Yeah.
Maury, you are not the father. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what they want is to delegitimize her kids, and she begs her father, like, you can't let them do this, and he shows the fuck up. And it kind of really makes you like him because he's kind of been no offense to the guy. I know he's a good guy in the show, but he's kind of a twat the whole series so far.
He's just all about like good times. He just wants
He's
to, like,
all about family. He's
Yeah.
basically Dominic Toretto.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And,
without like seeing action or fast cars.
But he shows up. I mean, he shows up, and it's a actually very touching scene. He walks with a cane up to the throne, and Otto's sitting on the throne, and he looks at Otto, and he's like, "I'm gonna sit on the throne today." And Otto gets up, and he struggles to get up there, and his brother,
Well,
who they have been,
before that though, Otto and one of his Kingsguard try and help him up the steps to the throne.
Mhm,
He's like,
mhm.
"No, I've got this."
Oh yeah.
And then,
Then his brother, Damon, helps him up the stairs, which it was. They've been butting heads since episode one, so
yeah,
it's a very like I said, touching scene. He helped him up. He dropped his crown. Damon picked it up, put it back on him. It was nice.
yeah,
You're like, ah. You kind of forget that he's fucking his niece for a second. You're like, ah,
yeah,
he's a
and also
nice
fucking the
guy.
king's daughter.
Yeah.
Same person, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It was nice. But then the one guy starts
yeah.
running his mouth.
Vayman starts running his mouth and is like, "You may be the king, and you may be okay with all this, but you cannot tell me where my family's lineage dies. Only I can do that." And he starts turning to the kids, Rhaenyra's kids, that are not of Valyrian blood, like they're on paper are supposed to
Mhm.
be. And he goes to call them bastards and then stops because he makes eye contact with Damon, and Damon just goes, literally in the scene, just says, "Say it. Go on."
Yeah.
And Vayman is like, "They're bastards, and she's a
No.
whore."
Yeah. Well, no. But first he says they're bastards, and then King Viserys is like, "Oh, have your tongue for that." And then he goes, "And she's a whore." And then,
And then Damon cuts his head in half.
I mean, it's like fast. It's like
Clean.
she's a whore. Shink.
But you still see Vayman's tongue flapping, like, because it's still connected, because where it cut was like through the top half of the mouth. And Damon just goes, "Yeah, he can keep his tongue."
I literally audibly cheered at my TV when that
Yeah.
scene happened. I was like, "Yes,
I was like,
dude."
"Holy
So
shit, that's
badass.
fucking awesome."
Yeah, so good. Yeah. Fucking god damn it, this show's so good. I
Yeah.
want to spend so much time talking about it, but
I know.
I also don't want to keep everybody on here for um
But then there's
there's
a
a
oh yeah,
no,
there's
you go.
the
You
dinner
go.
scene. So go from there.
The dinner scene. Yeah. Basically, Viserys is like, hey, like he knows he's dying.
Yeah,
And he's like, yo,
this
I
is the
want to
last time
have
they're all going to be together. They haven't been
all
together in 6 years.
all my family, all the kids, we're all under one roof. I want a proper dinner. And there's this crazy fucking dinner scene, and they do this weird, uncomfortable toast. King Viserys takes his mask off, and you can really see how fucked up his face is at this point. It's
Yeah, he's missing an eye. Half of his
yeah,
cheek is gone. Like
yeah.
he's a
Never,
zombie.
never been so turned on. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Uh,
Yes. Not wrong.
it, it is. It's
What
a.
that
It's
mouth do?
what
Sorry,
that
mom.
what that eye socket do.
Oh, definitely sorry, mom.
Oh shit. It's fucking yeah.
But
Lost my dream.
because of this, like he makes a very empowering speech of like,
Oh yeah. No. Get over it.
yeah,
Get over it.
we're
We're
family.
family. Yeah. And then yeah. And there's this fucking there's this fucking awkward like toast chain of toasts. Like Rhaenyra gets up and makes a toast, basically saying like, "I'm willing to forgive if you are," blah blah blah, and then Alicent, and then
But
so
what
on and
was powerful
so
about
forth.
Alicent's was she acknowledged that Rhaenyra would make a good queen.
Yeah,
So it
but
was
it's
kind
just
of them bearing the hatchet
yeah,
for
but
like 5 minutes.
yeah, it doesn't last very long, but it's just this awkward like speech after speech after speech after speech, and then you start seeing the kids kind of start talking shit to each other, like behind the scenes, like while their parents are giving these like "Oh, we forgive you," kind of speeches, and the kids are like, "Hey, like, if like one of the kids is talking to, was it what was his
Aegon
name?
is telling Jacerys's fiance that if he
Yeah, you
can't
ever
get
want
her
to
off,
actually be pleased? I
yeah, like
got you.
give me a
Yeah,
call. Like,
and then he in return asks his wife, sister wife,
yeah,
white
sister
sister,
wife. Yeah.
to dance with him, and he dances with her. So there's all the kids are causing a bunch of tension. This is why I think season 2 is going to be all about the kids.
Yeah.
Um, and then you tell it so much better than I do. Go
Yeah.
for it.
And then
With
Aemon, who's the
yeah,
one that lost the eye in the last episode, stands up because he's just kind of been like staring everyone down, especially. Uh,
kinda. I mean, it's like half of the table he's staring down.
yeah, but if that's his prominent eye, I mean, he's got better vision that way. Just no
Yes.
depth perception. Uh, but Aemon gets up to give a toast because he's been like just staring down Aegon and Aemon because they're the ones that one are taking the titles that he thinks he's deserving of,
hmm
and they
Relie-
are
they also
not.
relieved him of his eye in the last
Yeah,
episode. He didn't need it. He has two.
he's doing fine.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like a kidney
Yeah.
or like half of your liver.
Mm.
Indefinitely your appendix. Like those are things you just don't need.
Yeah.
But he gets up and is like, to my nephews, because technically, even though they're the same age, he's their uncle.
It gets
Again,
confusing when you fuck within your
incest,
family.
yeah.
Yeah.
And says like, to my nephews who are smart and brave and strong. Because they thought that he was going to say bastard, basically, because
Mhm.
he like led up to it and then stopped and said strong, because Harwin Strong is their actual father.
Was their actual father until he got burned
Yeah,
alive.
he died a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
And tensions rise immediately from that. And he's like, yes, to my strong nephews. And then a fight breaks out that lasts like 3 seconds. Damon comes between Aemon and the coming and his stepchildren.
Yeah.
But you just know that Aemon has like a poster of Damon in his room.
The
He's like
interesting
models
part
his
is
whole
though
look after
is
him.
that
He's so hot right now.
they they show a part earlier that we kind of skipped over that Eamon is he's a really good fighter now, even with his one eye. And they show that Kristen with a K is the one teaching him how to fight. And we know that Kristen uh bested Damon. Oh my God, these names are gonna drive me
Yeah.
insane. They're all so
The
similar.
tournament from the first episode.
Yeah. They the first episode, Kristen beat Damon, and now he's teaching Eamon how to fight without being able to see out of one eye. So we know he's a good fighter, and he stirs shit up at this dinner. And basically, yeah, it got broken up, but he was ready to throw down.
That fight is
I'm there
coming.
for it. I'm there for it. I love this character. I think Eamon is gonna be he's gonna be a total douche, but he's gonna be my favorite character. I guarantee it.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can redeem him as much as what Game of Thrones did to Jaime Lannister, but it's along those lines where it's like you know that he's a piece of shit,
hmm
but you kind of love him, and then the
Yeah.
more you get to like see him, you're like, yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah. Yes.
Viserys basically has a fever dream towards the end, and kind of a callback. He's losing his mind because he's dying. So
Mhm.
he's recalling an old conversation that he has with Rhaenyra, but Alicent is now in the room, thinking that it's still Rhaenyra, and basically answers if he believes in the prophecy of the Song of Ice and Fire, which we know is Game of Thrones. You know that Valyrian steel dagger. all of that. And he's speaking kind of broken, like through gasping for breaths. It's like, yes, like Aegon the Promised will unite the realms and all of these things. And Allison is in there and she's like, oh shit, my son Aegon. He's going to be king. Yes, yes, yes. And because she's an idiot, she's going to ruin everything. And then Viserys dies in his sleep.
But really,
We think.
it is Jon Snow,
Well,
technically.
technically,
Aegon Targaryen.
yeah, but and then in Game of Thrones, Aegon Targaryen, I think it's Aegon the Fifth or the Sixth, which is who Jon Snow is, doesn't actually defeat the Night King. So like,
No, but he is the one he was the prince that was promised, and he did unite, kinda, because what's her dumb face?
he brought Daenerys and brought
He united the kingdoms.
yeah, and then
So
Arya
he techni-
uses the blade to kill the
Yeah.
Night King. So like,
So technically, he is who he saw in his dream.
yeah,
It's Jon Snow. Yeah, cool. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was off the beaten path on that, but
no, you're very right there. But
Talk about the
Allison
knife.
is going to
Talk
ruin
about the knife.
everything. So
Talk about the knife.
the knife that's very prominently featured, they even use it as the pupil in the dragon eye for like the poster. It is Aegon the Conqueror, Aegon
The Targaryen.
yeah,
Aegon the
Aegon
Targaryen.
Targaryen, the Conqueror, Aegon the First, the one that conquered Westeros for old Valyria, the Targaryens, the House of Valyria. He has this Valyrian steel dagger, and he has a dragon dream, basically where he foresees the Night King, the army of the dead, the long winter, all of that, inscribes it on the blade and passes it down generation to generation, so that when that time comes, they can fight it.
Mhm.
That blade is what cuts Rhaenyra in the last episode, cuts her arm open. It's the blade that was supposed to kill Brandon Stark, or Bran the Broken, the Three-Eyed Raven, whatever, in Game of Thrones. Gets passed around, ends up in Arya Stark's hand, and actually is the one that kills the Night King. So this dagger is the most important thing in all of Game of Thrones lore that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But it's this story that creates the conflict from when the Targaryens became a thing in Westeros until the end of the Game of Thrones series. It's really cool that you can kind of like track it and how much effort they've put into showing it. I mean, the last scene of the show is of the dagger.
Yeah.
Or of this episode is of the dagger. So
And I mean, just this episode and the preview for next episode, we do know that King Viserys finally fucking
gross.
dies. Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hung in there for a while. It was kind of a touching moment when he goes, because he kind of like reaches upward while he's laying on his back in his bed and he says, "My love." So I feel like he was hallucinating his wife, it seemed like. And then he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
He wasn't the best king, but
He was. The thing is that he was the best king.
he maintained peace at all costs, which is
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah.
He just wasn't ever
A
tested.
dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't a dick. He didn't have the backbone for it, but he had the values of making a good king.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately,
He was made king basically by a dying wish because of blood.
yeah.
And he never really wanted it. He just wanted a strong, happy, healthy family. So everything that he did as king was to try and do that. And since his mind was going at the end, he probably thought that he succeeded,
Yeah.
because he left before that fight at the dinner broke out.
Mm-hmm.
So like his dying wish was for them to make up and be a family, and then
they
they
did their toast.
and then
yeah.
he left, and then they're like, Okay, now that he's gone, fuck everyone.
I'll kill your whole family.
Which could also be my whole family.
Yeah.
I'll kill my wife's whole family, which is also my whole family, and my uncle's whole family, which is my whole family, and my step family, which is still my family.
Gets confusing.
Yeah. That's the episode. We've got 2 episodes left. I'm excited to see where this ends. What's your theory, Jake?
I already said it. I think that the big cliffhanger is going to be that Rhaenyra's illegitimate children are going to be murdered. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, you're probably right. It makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
we know
And then
they all
and then
die. I mean, it's
think
a Rogue One story here.
I think a lot of people are going to die. And I think, again, we've talked about this on this podcast, is that we think that the next season 2 is going to be about the kids. It's going to be about the kids.
Well, if Aemon is still there, then so is Daemon. So
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be the season finale is going to set up the Civil War.
Yeah, I think it's
in the
powder
House of
keg that
Targaryen.
actually explodes everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think next season will be about the kids as actual adults, not 17, 18-year-olds, but like actual adults.
Yeah.
We do know
again.
that there's a rumor going around that Elizabeth Olsen and Henry Cavill are being eyed for roles in season 2. If that's true, I really, really hope that Henry Cavill plays Aemon Targaryen. Like, that'd be so badass.
Because I would love to see him battle Daemon.
Yeah,
I want to see that. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm really wanting in the finale. I'm really wanting a rematch between Kristen and Daemon.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kristen's a bitch, and we want him to die.
Yeah, hands down.
All right, friends. It is that sad, sad time of the week where we have to close out our episode and say goodbye.
So long. Farewell to you, our friends. Bear in the big blue house.
I'll let you talk about this, but we did switch out of Patreon because they're nasty, nasty bastards.
Yeah, and allow for discussing shit on their platform.
Yeah, so we switched, and Chad will tell you more about it.
Yeah, we did drop Patreon as our subscription service for all of our like premium subscribers, for all of our like top tier fans. Not to say that if you're just a casual listener, we don't love you, because we do. We still wouldn't be able to do this without you. But if you wanted to support us on a monthly basis, instead of going through Patreon, we now go through a site called buymeacoffee.com. It allows for just like one-off donations. You know, if you just want to literally buy us, well, we change it so it says buy us a beer. But if you wanted to buy us a beer, you can do that. Or if you wanted to subscribe monthly, you get some bonus stuff, behind the scenes, unedited interviews, as well as exclusive merch, which is pretty dope. So it's through buymeacoffee.com. Link is in our bios, in the show notes, all of that. So there is that. Or if you just wanted to get some regular merch or some original art from these incredible artists from our Battle of the Sketches collaboration, if you go to www.allthingsnerdpodcast.com, there are links, well, just right on the website. You can look at the art for a gallery. You can also buy one-of-a-kind art pieces, as well as get like some stickers and stuff from us. But it's more about getting the art from these artists and supporting them.
Yeah. And like some of the artists, like, they're all fantastic. Some of them are aspiring artists, but some of them are artists that actually draw for comic books. Like, and like,
just full time, like that's their job.
This is like serious. We are in a pond that has sharks in it, and we are goldfish. Like, You guys don't understand. You guys are like, oh, they're a small podcast. They don't know anybody. I'm telling you, these artists are famous. Some
Yeah.
of them. And some of them will be famous. I
Yeah.
promise you. They're all
Yeah.
so incredibly talented. Go
I mean-
check them out.
I mean,
Buy some stuff.
Ken and Jerry that have been on the show obviously are, artists that have done a lot of great stuff. We also have artwork from Bernard Chang, who has worked with DC Comics and Marvel, as well as tons of aspiring artists and even just some like hobby artists where they just do it on the side, but they're phenomenal.
Ridiculous.
And you get a chance to get some one-of-a-kind pieces of art, which is really cool.
Yeah.
What do you have? I don't have an honorable mention this week, but it sounds like you do.
I have one honorable mention. This week being spooky season, we watched the Hulu reboot of Hellraiser. It was way better than I expected it to be. I was thinking cheesy teens running around screaming with their tops off, It wasn't. It was fantastic. The visuals were amazing. Super gory if you're into bloody kind of shit. It was also super creepy. Like when we finished it, I was like, let's go to bed. My girlfriend was like, no, we need to watch something happy before I am ready for bed. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, it's creepy. It rang true to the originals, other than the fact that Pinhead in this is a female, but only people with small dicks are really going to care about that. It was really fucking good. Yeah. This one is a giant thumbs up for me. Go watch it. It was awesome.
I will be watching it.
Will
I just
you?
haven't yet. Yeah, just not tonight.
Will you?
It might be something that I watch like on my day off, like midday.
Broad daylight. Yeah.
So like when later at night after like dinner and I need to like change my mindset, I'll just like throw on like Modern Family and keep watching that to get out of the inevitable nightmares. But anyways, I mean, we love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking around, for being here. Check out all the great artwork that's on our website for sale and just to view. And this has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.